Does nature means inherited biological characteristics that you can understand. Does nature or nurture have more of an impact on personal development or identity? Which one, where the weightage is more, nature or nurture? We are going to discuss this today. Nurture refers to the influence of experience. We are exposed to different kinds of environment at home, in the institution, in the family, within the community. We are exposed to different kinds of environment. Nurture refers to the influence of experience. And this experience, this nurture, it starts from prenatal period. Prenatal period is before birth, when we are in the mother's womb. That time also we are exposed to different kinds of environment. That is I told you in the last class also, it is nutrition taken by the mother and the different toxic substances like drugs, alcohols, and smoking. All these are having certain kinds of toxic environment. So we are exposed to different kinds of environment right from before birth, prenatal period. And also education, kind of education we are exposed to. We are getting admitted to different kind of institutions. And we are taking different type of education from different organizations. So this education, this is the environment. And then peer pressure. Do you know peer pressure? Peer is what? Your friends, your contemporaries, your friends. And during adolescent period, the peer pressure is very important. Some adolescent, nowadays in the society, all problems are coming up. We have seen in the newspapers, in the media, we have seen different kinds of problems are coming up during adolescent period. And sometimes these are due to peer pressure. Your friends are doing certain things, they are forcing you to do certain things, and you have to comply with the friend's request. That's why we are involved in certain misdeeds, misdemeanors, misbehaviors. So due to peer pressure, so peer pressure is a kind of environment. We are within our peer group, in the college, in school, in the community, we are within our peer group, and we are sometimes forced to take up certain activities due to peer pressure. So it's a kind of environment. And then parental role models. What kind of parental role models we have? What kind of parents we have? How you are accepting them, whether you are accepting them as your role models. Their qualities, their nature, their nature of discipline, how they are disciplining you. What kind of examples they are setting for you with a parental role model. Whether your parents are capable of setting a role model for you or not. That is your own kind of environment within the family. And then television, it's very important. The television, the type of programs broadcasted in the television. So these are having certain kinds of influence on us. And like television, what kind of programs? It has some negative influence on us? Can you tell me? You watch television, you all? What kind of programs? We think they are harmful for us. Do you think some programs are harmful for us? But always these are not negative programs. It has got positive side also. We learn, sometimes these youngsters, they learn violence from television violence, and then other things also. There are some negative impact of television. And then diet is also a kind of environment. And stress, the daily amount of stress, type of stress we are having, we are taking because of our academic pressure, because of our control by our parents, because of our financial hardship, because of some family, tensed family environment, maybe because of many these are our stress are the result of this. So these are the nurture. This can be included under nurture or environment. So environment has got influence on our behavior or personality. Some scientists think that your personality is based on genetic predisposition. So these are numerous studies are conducted on this. Lot of researches are conducted on nature and nurture. Some scientists think that your personality is based on genetic predisposition. there are some researchers say that personality depends on genetic predisposition. This is due to nature, hereditary. Other scientists think the way you act stems from the life experiences, the way you were taught and the environment in which you grew up. But some other scientists, they say that your behavior, your personality is the product of the environment. So there are many researches conducted on nature and nurture. Some scientists say that nature is much more important, and other scientists, they say personality, and then it stems from our environment. Many scientific researchers have shown an obvious fact that the behavior of a human being is created by the environment. Behavior is created by the environment. If genes predispose certain behavior, but the environment does not support it, then that behavior won't manifest. So in this case, genes are not important. Here, what is said here? Many scientific researches reveal that human behavior is created by the environment. They say that behavior is developed by the environment. Because if genes predispose certain behavior, suppose because of genes, we are predisposed to certain kind of behavior. We are prone to develop. Because of gene, we are having the tendency to develop certain kind of behavior. But if environment does not support it, but to develop that kind of behavior, we are not getting that proper environment, this will never show. Is it clear? Suppose somebody is genetically, he should be aggressive. He is having some genes from his parents to become aggressive. But he is brought up in such an environment, he is brought up in such an environment, there is no scope of expressing his aggressiveness. It's a very cool and conducive environment. Always he is satisfied. He doesn't find anything to fight with, to show his aggression. Then this aggressiveness will not be shown. One has to get that environment. Even if he is predisposed with certain kind of behavior, but he has to get conducive environment to show that, to unfold that behavior. So here in this case, genes are not important, it is said. Both are important, but we have to have the predisposition, and we have to get the proper environment to show it. We already discussed this. From the time we are conceived, we receive 23 chromosomes from each parent. These chromosomes contain genes that contain information guiding development, such as eye color, hair, height. But do genes guide the development of our personalities, intelligence, sense of humor? This is the question. We are receiving chromosomes from our parents, 23 chromosomes. And these chromosomes contain genes that contain information guiding our development, such as eye color, hair, height. This we are getting through the genes. But do genes guide the development of personalities? Regarding our personalities, do genes have influence? Intelligence and sense of humor, are these hereditary? Do we receive any genes for this? So this is the question. So for this, to prove these, different researches have been conducted by researchers long back. They have done researches on family studies. How? Because whatever they say, it has to be proved by researches. Here the gene is important, here the environment is important, but it has to be proved by researches. That is why many researches have been conducted for this. Studies that estimate genetic influences through similarities of family members who vary in their degree of genetic relatedness. So they have conducted family studies within the family members depending on their genetic relatedness. Genetic relatedness, maybe some are identical twins and then some are fraternal twins. The genetically how they are related. Depending on their genetic relatedness, they have conducted studies to see what, to prove what, the importance of genetics and environment. So they have conducted family studies. They have done studies of the family members who vary in their degree of genetic relatedness. Then they have studied twins, twin study method. A method of testing nature and nurture by comparing pairs of identical and fraternal twins of the same sex. They have studied the nature and nurture influence on twins, identical and fraternal twins of the same sex. They have studied identical twins, whether genetics is much more important or environment is much more important. And they have studied fraternal twins. Why identical twins? They are from the same cell, same zygote. And the fraternal twin, two different ovar fertilized. So these are, relatedness is more in identical twins than the fraternal twins. So they have studied both identical as well as fraternal twins. Then adoption studies, a method of testing nature and nurture by comparing twins and other siblings reared together with those separated by adoption. So twins, they are genetically related, twins. And if they are brought up in the same family, they will be exposed to the same environment. Okay? They are genetically related, and if they are brought up in the same family, then they will be exposed to same kind of environment, isn't it? If they are brought up by adopted parents in different environment, then we can study the impact of environment as well as heredity. Is it clear? So twins reared apart, they are not reared in the same family, they are reared apart. One is with the own family, biological parents, then other with the adopted parents. So then we can see the importance of heredity as well as environment. To understand the effect of nature and nurture on human development, some scholars have studied identical twins separated at birth and adopted by different families. They were to study this, they separated the identical twins at birth and adopted by different families. Studies reveal that even twins separated at birth share some characteristics with their siblings years later. Even if they are separated at birth, in later years it has been seen that they are having some similar characteristics. This proves that while some traits are genetically inherited, others are learned from the environment in which a child is raised. So both are important. So how this study has been done? Type of study, twin and adoption. Here the objectives were differences, that objective means or aim for the study. Differences in genetic relatedness, it's same environment. They wanted to, in twin study, they wanted to see the differences in genetic relatedness, same environment. Here the comparisons were identical twins together and fraternal twins together here. Genetic related, they were brought up together, identical twins and fraternal twins. And in adoption studies, same genetic relatedness, different environment. Genetic relatedness is same but different environment. They were identical twins together, that means same genetic relatedness, identical twins. They were brought up together and identical twins reared apart. So these studies they have done, twins and adoption studies. And this is one study based on Minnesota personality study. These are research findings. When raised together, monozygotic twins are more similar than dizygotic twins. Monozygotic is? When raised together, monozygotic twins are more similar than dizygotic twins. Similarity is more in identical twins than in fraternal twins. When raised together, they are brought up together. They are brought up in the same environment. Then they are more similar. When they are together, they are raised together at the same place, then monozygotic twins are more similar than dizygotic twins. Twins raised apart are almost as similar to each other as those living in the same home. But they are twins raised apart, those who are raised apart, almost as similar to each other as those living in the same home. They were also, although they were raised separately, they had the similarities. Young adopted children are similar intellectually to other children in their adopted family. And then again, young adopted children, those who are adopted by other families, are similar intellectually to other children in the adopted family. In the adopted family, there are other children also, but those who are adopted, the adopted children, they are similar with the children of the adopted family. So here, the environment is important. Is it clear? Adopted family, you can understand? They are not biological parents. But young adopted children are similar intellectually. Intellectually, adopted children are similar to whom? Similar to the children from the adopted family. That is, they are brought up in an environment and they are taking the characteristics of the environment. So here, environment is important. Other studies of twins and adopted show genetic factors account for differences in intelligence, verbal and spatial abilities, criminality, vocational interest, and aggressiveness. So other studies of twins, other researches show that genetic factors account for some differences. So genetic factors are important in these characteristics. Other studies show that genetic factors are important in these characteristics, like intelligence, verbal and spatial abilities, criminality, vocational interest, and aggressiveness. Here, genetic factor is much more important. There is a genetic component to psychological disorders such as alcoholism, depression, and schizophrenia. There is a genetic component to psychological disorders. These psychological disorders, these are some mental, psychological disorders, some problems with the mental illness, like such alcoholism, depression, and schizophrenia. In these three, genetic component is important: alcoholism, depression, and schizophrenia. And there is evidence for a genetic link to people's attitude towards issues and activities. What kind of attitude we have, it also has the genetic influence. There is evidence for genetic link to people's attitude towards issues and activities. So these genetic factors are important in intelligence, verbal and spatial ability, criminality, vocational interest, and aggressiveness. Here genetic factors are important. Then again, some psychological problems like alcoholism, depression and schizophrenia. Here the genetic factor is important. And regarding other factors, psychological terms, attitudes towards issues and activities, here also genetic factor is important. Yes? Special abilities, actually this you will learn later on, verbal abilities, how you speak and all, how you speak. Special ability, you have to understand that after this time you are going there, you are having some ability, you can just see, you can visualize that after this task you are going to do this within this period. You are having some mental plan, that is special ability and your verbal ability. And then schizophrenia is a psychological disease, mental illness, and then depression, you know, depression, some depressed, these are also psychological problems, people are depressed. And now regarding nurture, that is environment, there are many factors in the environment that influence our personalities. Time spent with parents, family, toys, television, media, peers, these are the environment. These are the factors in the environment which influence our personality. The media can display violence, drug abuse, how we should behave. These are shown in the media, and once we are exposed to these, our behaviors are influenced by this, our personality or behavior. And advertising, definitely you believe that advertising also has some influence on our behavior and attitude. Advertising influences our ideas of needs, necessities. Now why media is important? Why television? Why we are emphasizing on television? Now what happens? It may result in obesity. Obesity for what? How it is obesity? Through inactivity as well as advertising of unhealthy foods. We just keep on sitting in front of the TV, and then we just, as a result of advertisement, we just consume some unhealthy foods which results in obesity. Increase in violent behavior, poor academic performance, especially reading, because we just all the time we listen only, watch and listen. So poor reading ability it may result in. And then social skill, children no longer interacting with other children as often, because these are our pleasurable passivity. We sit and watch. So we no longer interact with other children or other people. We just keep on sitting and watching. So these are the environmental influence. There's a percent of twin pairs who share the trait. There's a how twin pairs. Here on the top side, greater genetic influence. This traits greater genetic influence, and here greater environmental influence. In twins, genetic influence is more. In height, I mean genetic influence is more, and these are some traits where in upper part genetic influence is more. Suppose height, reading disability, autism, Alzheimer's, and these are here gradually it is coming down here in towards this extreme and greater environmental influence. Here identical twins and fraternal twins, here the identical twins, their relatedness is more, that is concordance rate. Here in identical twins, their relatedness is more. Even if they are brought up separately, together, whatever it is, in identical twins, their relatedness is more in the pair than the fraternal twins. Here in all this, the relatedness is more in identical twins. You may be finding it very cumbersome, very difficult, but from the figure you can just see the relatedness is more in identical twins than the fraternal twins. And this is the correlation. Correlation you will learn later on, but that is relationship. Statistically, correlation is found out, and then it is seen that unrelated sibling, it is reared together, 0.34. Anyway, you just see the light. Twins, fraternal, that is relationship 0.50, reared together. When they are reared together in fraternal, this 0.60, and when reared apart, 0.52. And identical twins, identical here 0.86 reared together and 0.72 when reared, but their relatedness is there. Reared together it is more, when reared apart their relationship is. Now another thing I'll just emphasize here, I have explained before also regarding the environment. In our brain, the other day I just explained, in our brain we are having the neural connection. Is it clear? Can you just think? Within our brain there are neural connections, and these nerve fibers has to develop their connections, and our experiences, our external experiences expedite the connection between the nerve fibers. In our brain, neurons, like trees, can grow new branches and then can lose old ones. So it is like a tree, they are having different branches, and the branches, they keep on developing, as well as old branches, they went away. And synapses, that is the connections, synapses can grow larger and they can grow smaller. Your experiences can change your connections. Now our every small experiences, just be attentive, our very minute experiences also, it helps in developing the connections. We are touching a hot plate. Maybe we are thinking something new. We are listening to a very loud noise. These are our experiences. And in every little experience, it develops the neural connections. And then your experiences can change your connections. And that's why every connection is unique. Kind of experience you are having, it helps in developing an unique connection. So depending on the connections, you will develop different kind of behavior. Is it clear? Depending on the connections, neural connections within our brain, we will develop different kinds of behavior. Suppose at birth, an infant does not know how to play a piano or something. He doesn't know how to use this. But as he grows older, when he gets that experience where he has to press that activity of his fingers, and then this activity of his finger will develop these connections, and gradually he will learn how to play the piano. So these experiences he is having with his fingers will will develop different kind of connections in the brain. And because of these experiences, he will develop that behavior. Similarly, our thoughts, our wishes, what we are planning, what kind of experiences we are getting, and it will develop some unique connections and will develop some kind of behavior. And that's why every connection is unique, even those of genetically identical twins. Even those of genetically identical twins, even if they are identical genetically, twins, but different kind of experience will develop different kind of connections. And depending on the connections, he will develop different kinds of behavior. The connection is where nature meets nurture. The connection is where nature meets nurture. Naturally, he is having the nerve fibers, and then through our experiences, he is developing the connections. Is it clear? By birth, hereditarily, he is having the nerve fibers. Through experiences, he is developing different kind of connections, and these connections where nature and nurture meets. And it might be true that just the mere act of thinking can change our connection. And it might be true that just the mere act of thinking can change your connections. When you think something also, it may change your connection. Think about the way you act, your facial expression, the values accepted by you, the way you talk, everything. And remember that they are a result of your environment. All these are your facial expression, the way you act, the values accepted by you, the way you talk, everything. And remember, they are the result of your environment. So our behavior, our personality, it is the result of our environment. We are having some genetic connections, and through our experiences, we are developing some unique nerve connections within the brain. So that is why here also nature and nurture meets, and both are equally important. And then another point, and the gender identity. Can you differentiate between sex and gender? You know the meanings of sex and gender? By birth, it may be a boy or a girl. It may be a male or a female child by birth. But how the society, how we make them boy and a girl? As soon as the baby is born, what do you ask? Is it a male or a female child? First question, lora na swali. Ami khudun nai, kabar kesuata hole lora na swali. At the very beginning, we are differentiating. It's a boy or a girl. Whenever we purchase a gift for a child, for an infant, is it a girl? Then we choose the pink dress. Is it a boy? We choose certain things. Whenever he plays, we give a small car to a boy. We give a kitchen set to a girl. So their behavior as a boy or a girl, it is environmental. We are creating this environment for you. But by birth, there may be sex differences. He is a male or a female. But these behaviors, we are teaching them through the environment we provide. So that way, this is the environmental influences. Why a girl cries very easily? She begins to weep whenever we say certain things. But the boy doesn't. Isn't it? And then that way we bring them up in such a way, a boy develops certain characteristics and a girl develops certain characteristics. So these are the environmental influence. There is a lot of debate about how much of a person's gender identity, among other things, is due to their biological makeup, and how much is due to their social surroundings and the way they are brought up. From a sociological perspective, biology alone does not determine gender identity. Biology alone does not determine gender identity, but rather it is a mixture of biology and socialization. Here it is a biology and a socialization.